our budget to City Council today. So we're sending out, that's actually just been put online in the last 5 or 10 minutes. News release should be going out as we speak. So be sure, you know, you are on top of that, because on any other day that might be the largest story. But not today, because of what we experienced over the weekend. We had an officer-involved shooting, as the community knows. We take these events seriously and have developed a reputation for releasing as much information as possible, as quickly as possible. We gathered Saturday late morning, I believe, via Zoom with what we call our rapid response team. That is a group of community leaders, faith leaders, others, to share with them the information that we had at the time. We rearranged the time of the rapid response call to make sure that members of City Council were able to participate. We wanted to have this news conference yesterday, but we were still in the process of interviewing the officers that were involved. And again, we wanted to schedule this at a time where members of City Council could participate. So even when we knew it had to be today, we actually pushed it as late in the day as possible to give members of council who wanted to be here a chance to be here. So that being said, you know, we're ready to share the information that we have. Just like any other situation like this, we'll present it to the grand jury and allow the grand jury to make its decisions. But I continue to think that it is crucial in maintaining the trust between the citizens and their city government that we share information immediately, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, to help the citizens understand what has happened, how we process it, and where we go from here. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Kroll, who will lead us through the presentation.
Thank you. As is the case when we always do these, we're going to go through the series of events. We're going to show you pictures of the suspect, the officers involved, and listen to some recordings and look at some video, and we'll open it up for questions if there are anyone we get done. So today we're going to be talking about the officer-involved shooting that happened on the 11th at 4:38 in the morning. However, on this one we're going to start the night before, the 10th, at about 11:18 p.m., where 2 people were killed at 2721 Albion Street. You can see the circle around the home there. The next slide is 624 Leach, which is the apartment complex, the Weiler Homes, where the officer-involved shooting happened. Victims from the 2700 block of Albion are Brent Roscoe, 36 years old, and Melinda Moore, who is 28 years old. Now, a lot of people is going to say, how did we know that our suspect, Prince Jones, was in a vehicle where we found him? Witnesses at the scene told us that one of the victims' vehicles were missing. So we ran both deceased and found that one of their vehicles was missing. We put that into our flock camera system, and that helped us find where the car was. Again, the suspect is Prince Jones. He is a 24-year-old black male, last known address in the 3300 block of Elm Street. His criminal history involves sex offense when he was a juvenile, and traffic offenses as an adult. First officer who did the shooting was Officer Gregus. He's a 36-year-old white male, hired in 2013. He works Unit 410, which is out of the Central District Station, and it's a 2-man vehicle. Excuse me. He has no active discipline in his file. Involved Officer 2 is Officer Cox, 39-year-old white male, hired in 2018. He's working Unit 610, which is out of the Scott Park District Station, 2-man vehicle, and as with Officer Gregus. He has no active discipline in his history. First thing we're going to listen to is a 911 call for the homicide at double homicide at 2721 Albion.
911, where's your emergency? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is 911. What's your emergency?
I heard gunshots at 2721 Albion. I was just in the neighborhood and I was sitting in my car.
Okay, did you see anyone?
I know for a fact it's the door open to the house, so it looked like somebody laying when you first go in there, but I never went in there. I'm still moving and I'm still in the car. I had pulled off in the car door. I immediately just seen this place.
Sir, listen. The person that you saw that was laying down, are they at the 2721 Albion?
When you go in the house, it's smoky. I don't know. When you first step up to the house, it's smoky. You can't see. I don't know if someone laying in there.
Does it look like it's on? Listen, does it look like it's on fire, or does it what?
Somebody cooking something and something burning.
Okay. What is your name? I've got them going to 2721 Albion Street at Joel in Central. Your phone number's
Yeah.
okay, but you don't see any flames, correct?
No, I think it's something in the kitchen burning, like some cooking in the kitchen burning.
Okay. Then you said you heard gunshots. Now something's cooking, and you think someone's on the floor.
I'm saying I don't know. Like
Okay.
you asking me questions, and all I know is somebody needs some help.
No, sir, this isn't stopping them from going, okay? I'm just trying to get information, okay? So, do you have any more information for me?
That's all I know. I left.
Okay.
Okay, before we go on to the body-worn camera footage, I want to give you a little qualifier here. You're not going to see a whole lot because the one officer that we're going to show, he had a patrol rifle and his arms obviously are covering the body-worn camera, which is worn right here. The other officer was using the vehicle for concealment. So in other words, he was between the frame of the vehicle and the door. So you're going to see a car door. But what's important is I want to see what you hear. You're going to hear de-escalation techniques. Put the gun down, don't make us do this. This went on for roughly 30 minutes that they were working hard. And you'll see when we get to the dash camera, this suspect is walking back and forth with a gun, agitated, and they were actively trying to de-escalate the situation. So they did a really, really good job. I wanted to qualify that before we showed anything.
Put it down! Put it down now! Put it down now! Put it down now! Put it down! Put it down! Got one right here. Yeah, we got eyes on him. They're moving! Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! He's on the ground. Go shield up. Go, coming up, coming up. Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Don't move!
Now, before we go on to the dash cam, what you're going to see is the suspect pacing back and forth, gun in his right hand, cell phone in his left. Clearly not doing what the officers are directing him to. There are times where the gun is going back and forth, aiming at people, at the officers. At one point, he goes to get back in the car, and he's holding his weapon in his right hand. He switches to his left, and you can see several times, this type of motion with the gun going up. Unfortunately, with the way the car was positioned, the vehicle door was open, of course, because he was getting in, and it is kind of hard to see on video, but we're going to provide you some stills that really show that the weapon was leveled at the officers. Additionally, you can't hear it, but at some point, the suspect, and this is counting down, 5, 4, 3, you get it. So that, with his behavior and not obeying the commands, that's what led to the shooting. So we'll go ahead and show that video.
Put the gun down, Prince. Just put the gun down, man. Prince, put the gun down. Doesn't have to be like this. Just put the gun down. Prince, put the gun down. Just drop the gun. Drop the gun. I can't see him. I can't see him. We need shields. I got cover. He's still moving. Drop the gun. Don't move. No, I got nothing. I can't. I got. Okay, I can see the left hand right now, but that's all I got. Put the gun down. We got it over here. Yeah, he's still moving, guys. Still moving. Don't move. Stepping back. Switch to the other side. I'm just going to the other side. Kyle, I'm right behind you. Hold on. I got light. I got light. Hold on. Okay, there's a gun on the seat. There's one gun on the seat. I can't see his right hand. Gun's on the seat. And one gun on the seat right now. Right there. Right there.
Now, before we go on to the next phase, I think what you saw there is another attribute to how these officers handled that incident. Once they made sure that the scene was secure, the weapon was secured, they immediately began life-saving measures. And you'll see in the next video, officers took turns doing CPR until our friends in the fire department could get there to give them more advanced life support.
We're okay. Yes.
show you some stills here. This doesn't really give it justice. When it's on a big screen TV, you're going to be provided with all of this information. You can see holding the weapon in his left hand right there, throwing his jacket down, still holding the weapon. That's a vehicle. Oh, I'm sorry. Holding the gun in the right hand. Again, this episode went, what, 30 minutes. About 30 minutes. So you'll see all of that when we give you your complete package. And you can see when he sat in that vehicle, he switched the firearm from his right hand to his left hand, where basically where the mayor is, that's where the officers were standing. I can confirm that the firearm that you see there is what we took off the suspect that morning. It's the same weapon that was used in the double homicide on Albion. Some final notes. Officer Smith is a trained CIT negotiator. Officer Smith was able to immediately negotiate with the suspect and attempt to de-escalate the situation, which you heard a portion of. Everything's going to be sent to you, like I just said. And again, the last sentence is probably one of the biggest one. A longer, more clear version of the dash cam will also be provided showing the suspect raise his firearm towards the officers. As is the case all the time, there's an officer-involved shooting. Once we get our case done, it will be presented to the prosecutor's office to go in front of a grand jury to see if there's any type of criminal charges that could be pending. That's what I have, if there's any questions.
Let's start with the homicide itself. Do you know the circumstances of what brought him there, or?
That I don't. I don't know if it was a burglary gone bad or a robbery that went bad. I don't know why he was there on Albion. I don't know that right now.
Okay. What was the relationship between the two victims from Albion?
I don't know. I don't know if they were a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know.
Any idea who he was on the phone with when he was trying to talk him down?
We believe it was his girlfriend.
One of the, through the dispatch audio that we heard initially, one of the officers said he's shot by himself. So we thought that he had shot himself. Any reason or what kind of verbiage would that be used for?
When there's an officer-involved shooting, it's an incredibly confusing situation. I got a phone call that morning saying that we were involved in a shooting, and then I got a phone call 2 minutes later saying, you don't have to come in, the suspect shot himself. So that's why we try to make sure that we take our time to get this information in a correct and cohesive message for the media and for the residents of Toledo. So I told the mayor when he hired me, I said, you can pretty much guarantee that when I call you in the middle of the night, half of what I'm going to tell you is wrong, because it's such a chaotic scene and everybody's trying to get the information done. So I got the same information that you guys got.
So how long did it take for you to get a grasp of that it was not a suicide?
Oh, quickly. I was on the phone with our dispatch office, and she informed me what was going on, and then my detective supervisor called and said it was a suicide, so I immediately called back, and we knew it was an officer-involved shooting right away.
So just to be 100% clear, Prince never fired his weapon?
No.
And was it loaded?
I don't know. Do we have that information? I don't know. But I think, I've said this before at press conferences, it may be hard for some people to understand, but police officers don't have to be shot at to use deadly force. If they perceive a threat, if a weapon's raised at them, we have no way of knowing there's rounds in that gun at all. So I know some folks may have heartburn with that, but it's true.
I think I heard that he was shot at maybe 6 times. Any ideas how many times he was actually hit?
We're still waiting for the preliminary or for the official report from the coroner's office to verify that.
Would you have any cause to believe that this was actually a suicide by cop situation?
We've seen a lot of those lately here, so I would not say that that's out of the question. I mean, this suspect just killed 2 people. Allegedly.
There was narrative that he was holding a gun to his head at some point during the.
And that was true. When we first got there, he had the gun to his head, but then when we set up a perimeter, he quickly got out of the vehicle.
If we could just go over, how many shots did your officers fire?
6.
6. you know which officer fired how many?
I don't have that right now.
Okay.
His gun was loaded.
Okay. We just verified the suspect's gun was loaded.
Is this who you guys were looking for initially, or was it, did you guys know his name before you saw the car, or did you see the car and then get his name?
We were looking for the car initially.
Well, talk to me about the time frame. You said that the discussion was going on for about 30 minutes or so. Does the training have a certain time limit when after an hour you need to act, or after 2 hours, or after 35 minutes?
Well, it depends on the situation, really. If a person is barricaded in a home, a residence, we have all the time in the world, so we can take our time. In a case like this, he's in an apartment building parking lot, and he's walking around. It was obvious they could have used deadly force a lot sooner than what they did. And I think they showed great restraint and firearms discipline, and by extending, no police officer wants to use their weapon in a fatal shooting incident. So you heard them. They were trying to get this guy to do the right thing and put his gun down, but unfortunately that wasn't how it ended.
Do you know how long these officers are gonna be on paid leave?
I think there's 72 hours.
You got 3
Yeah.
days.
So they'll be back this soon, if not already.
Are you gonna, what goes from here? Do you review all this video and think about maybe what went right, show your officers, hey, this is
Sure.
how you.
Whenever we have an officer-involved shooting incident, not just us, any other police department, we'll dissect the video. We'll send it out to our training academy and say, hey, what did we do right here, and what did we not do right, and we'll learn from that. And we have a firearms review board that reviews every time an officer fires their weapon, and our training commander is there. So we'll have these discussions on, maybe this could be a scenario in the future on how we can position ourselves to make us keep our own officers safe.
So you said 2 officers fired shots, but it looked like there were a lot more in the background. Do you have any idea as to how many officers were actually dispatched to that area?
Almost all of them that were working. We knew there was a double homicide, and when we have a suspect that is still present with the gun, if officers had any way of getting to that call, they were going to help out.
Is it frustrating, Chief, that even when you have the trained negotiator there, going by the book, and it still turns out like this, even if you use all the tools you have?
Yeah, they did everything that we trained them to do. And unfortunately, this suspect had other plans in mind. Do I wish he would have thrown the gun down and let this take care of itself through the court system? Absolutely. Unfortunately, we have to respond to people's actions.
Are all officers trained in CPR and those
Oh, yeah.
life-saving measures that we just saw?
Yep. We all have to be recertified every year in CPR. We have, Chief Trenley, how many officers do we have going through tactical medic training right now?
I don't know the number of ones there. I thought there was somewhere around 25.
Okay, so that tactical medic, 7. So we have 7 officers right now in addition to a handful that are tactical medics. So if something like this happens, they have medical bags, and we can render aid until the experts get there.
Another clarification on timeline. Did Prince himself, was he pronounced dead in the hospital, or was
I
he
don't know.
respons-
I don't know. Okay, thanks, everybody.